Hey guys, how are y'all doing? So, this is GH Fear at Illusory Software, and today we're coming at you with a very special video, something I've been wanting to announce now for a long time, something I've been working on for a long time, together with Genesis and DGA, and finally it's here. Today I'm announcing the Universal Unreal Engine 4 Mod Unlocker, and this tool, with it, you can basically unlock modding for every single Unreal Engine game ever made. At least Unreal Engine 4. And that's pretty huge. So, how does it work? Well, let me show you. So first of all, you need to go to Illusory Dev, and you need to download the software. So click on download, and that will take you to the installer. So you click on this, and you download the installer. Next, what you need to do is you need to go to this link, which I will have all these links here in the description. You need to download Steamless. This version right here, click on this here, and you download it. Next, you need Goldberg Emulator. Goldberg Emulator is a Steam emulator. It is very useful for a lot of things. So get it, download it. Fourth, and this is something that, worst case scenario thing that you might need in case the auto loading of the DLL doesn't work. So, and that is the ExtremeInjector. This injector will be seen by your Windows as the worst type of malware ever possibly created, and it will try to delete it. So you're going to have to make an exception for it. It's perfectly safe. It's not a virus. It's not a Trojan. Master 131 is a dope dude. He's not putting a bunch of malware in his software. So, get it. And yeah, let's get started. So, when you have these things, ExtremeInjector, Goldberg, Steamless, and Illusory Mod Unlocker, what you're going to have to do is you're going to install the Mod Unlocker. So, double click it. And it will install. And it will auto run. There's some music playing here, which you can turn off. And then you want to find whatever game you want to mod. So, and whatever version it is on. So go to a game. In my case, it is DCL the game. Hover over this exe, which is in the root. So there's in the root of the game, there is one exe. It's a small one. It's not this one. You need to go into the game folder, into binaries, into Win64, and there will be a shipping.exe. Sometimes it is renamed, but most of the time it's called Win64 shipping.exe. Hover over it, and you'll see the file version, 4.22.3.0. That means this is a 4.22 game. So it is supported by the Universal Mod Unlocker. So 4.22 to 4.24 at the moment. Those are the supported versions. Right. So what you do is you hit open, and then you select this Win64 folder for the game. So root, game, binaries, Win64, select that. Hit select. And then you click patch and hit OK. And here you see there is a patch in here. So what do you do now? Well, just to make sure you have the most success rate, there is a couple things you can do. But first of all, what you can do right now is you can actually start the game and test it and see, does it work? And it might just work. You never know. In this case, I doubt it's going to work. We can try. Yeah, it doesn't work. So as you can see here, there's a warning. The mod patch doesn't support this engine version yet, or the game is packed with Steam Stub DRM. Use Steamless by Atomos to remove Steam Stub DRM and try again. The game will now run vanilla style. So this is just a little message I made just in case something goes wrong. And in this case, it did go wrong, and it gave us some information. And what do you do if you get that message? Well, what you can do is you can check, is there Steam Stub DRM? And how do you do that? Well, you need a hex editor. So I would say go with any hex editor, but in my case, it is HXD. I like it. It's a good one. So you just drag and drop your exe onto the hex editor. And at the very top here, right, almost at the very top, at offset 40 in hexadecimal, or in decimal it's 64, you'll see this, VLV. that is a Valve Steam DRM. It's a header of these when it's basically packed with Steam DRM or Steam Stub DRM. So that way you know, oh, it has Steam Stub DRM. So what do? Well, what you can do is, I would advise two things. There are two things you can do. Sometimes you only need one of them, sometimes you need both. So first, we'll try the first method, which is to use Steamless by Atomos. And you just, unpack it, unzip it, and then you run Steamless. And boom, there we go. Okay, so you go and you find the exe, the main exe of the game, and you hit open. And then you hit unpack file. And then this will tell you if it successfully unpacked the file. And it did. Awesome. So we'll go back, and here we will have a unpacked file. So what we're going to do first is we're going to rename this to like exe original. And then we're going to make the unpacked file be the main exe of the game. So now if I run this, it will actually work for this game. If I run this right now, I'll show you. It will just work. So, as you see there is a little thing there. I'm going to explain that later. Right. So, as you see, we didn't get an error from in Illusory, Team Illusory error. That means it is successful and it has patched the game, right? So, what we can do now is we can play the game. And we can play modded. We're not going to do that right now. I'm going to go through the next thing you can do in case this method didn't work for you. Right. The next thing you can do, if it still doesn't work for you, is to use Goldberg LAN Steam Emulator. And you just extract it. You go to the folder here, and you copy the Steam API and the Steam API 64.dll. And then you go all the way back out to the game root folder. You go into Engine, Binaries, Third Party, Steamworks, Steam, V, whatever version, Win64, and then you will see here there is a Steam API 64.dll. Delete that. And then you put these in here. I think you can have both in here, but since the original game only has the 64 version, I will delete the other version. And then we will go back out here. We'll go to DC Game. We'll go to Binaries. We'll go to Win64. And now if we start the game, it'll be a little bit different. So last time we started it, it basically restarted itself once. It started, boom, went down and restarted. It doesn't do that anymore. That's also a feature of Steam DRM. So what's happening now is basically the cleanest start you can have of this game. Sadly, it's offline only, but I wouldn't say that's very sad because, we're modding, we're not cheating, we're modding. So as you'll see here, it is offline only. Right. So mods at this point should work for you. I can show you that they work by going in here and by starting this and clicking Race Offline. Okay, if the mods work, I actually already have a mod map installed and my mod map launcher. So it's very simple. I just made it for testing, and it should pop up at the start of this game if it works. So let's see. Okay, race. Hey, look at that, in the middle. Load custom map. Right. So that means it works. If I hover over it, it's just a hover button. So, right. So what if all of these methods fail? What do? Holy shit, nothing works. Nothing seems to work. You're getting fatal errors. Nothing seems to work. Well, there is a last resort, and that is the ExtremeInjector. So ExtremeInjector, as I said before, you're going to have to make exceptions for it in your antivirus and in everything because your PC Windows doesn't like it. It doesn't like you injecting things into other processes. So what you need to do first is to move the DQXIHook from in here out in here. If it's in here, it'll be auto-launched. We don't want that now. If we want to load it with ExtremeInjector, we don't want it to be auto-launched, so we move it out into the binaries folder, and then we start the ExtremeInjector. Just start it. It'll ask for admin. Click yes. Okay. So how do you set this up? Well, it's pretty simple. You go into Win64, and then you copy the name of the exe that you want to hook, or that you want to inject this into, right, at launch. So copy it into here, process name, and just hit enter and click outside or whatever, just to make sure it's stuck. What you also can do is start the game up and find it in the select menu and do it that way, but you don't have to. Then you take the DXGI.dll and you drag it and drop it on this window. Boom. I already did that before though. And last but not least, you need to go into settings and you need to turn on auto inject. That's very important. You need auto inject on, so tick that check that box and then hit OK. Right. When all this is done, what we can do now is we can launch the game, because now it knows what process to look for, it knows what DLL to inject, and it knows that it needs to auto-inject it when you launch this process. Start the game. Boom. Look at that. And it works. It doesn't dual boot, like double launch. It just works. Everything works. No errors and nothing. So, yeah. Let's just make sure that the mod's loaded. And I'm pretty sure they work, but let's make sure, so that I'm not just talking bogus here, right? And boom, just like that, you can see the load custom map. So I'm just gonna do something real quick. I'm gonna crash this to load a script, and then we're gonna load the custom map, and yeah, so I can show you that it works. So yeah, this is a custom map I made for DCL. It's just a very Hey, what's up, guys? My buddy knocked on the door, so I had to open. But yeah, I think we were basically done, and let's just go through the Discord, the early access, Patreon, and yeah, that's about it. So if you go to our website, which is illusory.dev, we have a button here you can click, which will take you to our Discord. And in our Discord right now, there's about 5,000 members, and you know, it's huge. And there's a lot of people in there that know how to make things like custom maps, your own character models, 3D models for things, how to replace textures and materials, how to replace audio, how to do all this stuff. So yeah, feel free to join and partake in all this modding awesomeness. And then we also have an early access, and if you go to our Patreon, and if you become a patron, then at the moment you will unlock the early access for 4.21. So 4.21 at the moment is not completely it's not perfectly completed. It's semi-working. And I mean, it works. It's just that the problem with it is that it doesn't auto-load like 4.22, 23, and 24. So it doesn't automatically load on launch when you just launch the game like the other ones do. So for 4.21, you have to use the ExtremeInjector. So we have it as part of the early access at the moment. So because we're still working on it. But yeah, so if you become a member, then you get the hookup. But I think that's about it. Tutorial, little walkthrough, the Patreon, the Discord. Yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you all for watching. Really. I feel like I say it every time, but I mean it. It's really cool to have people watching, and that I can share my knowledge and my passion of modding games and stuff. It's pretty cool that I can share this with y'all. So really, thank y'all for watching, and leave a comment. I'd love to read them and discuss. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video or in the Discord. Yeah, peace out.